Joining me, Joey Jackson, HLN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney, and Jeff Gardier, clinical psychologist. Good to have you here because there's a lot to go through. I'm going to start with you, Joey. $100 bond, is that extremely low? And what is taken into consideration when that is set, that amount?
Susan, always good to see you, and my friend Dr. Jeff as well. You know, listen, first of all, I'm glad the kids are okay, right? So as a practical matter, Susan, I'm glad we're speaking about this from the perspective of your question in terms of bail and what we could do moving forward, as opposed to that being in 95 degrees, there being a significant health issue, and us having to unpack this in another way. And so thank God for that. Now, having said that, what happens is she faces reckless endangerment charges, and we have to understand that the purpose of bail is to ensure that you return to court. So from that perspective, being a grandmother, I'm sure they look at ties to the community, look at her background and prior history, look at the severity of the charges. It's a misdemeanor up to a year in jail. And based upon that, the judge sets bail. Is this pretty low? It is. Would I, for, other reasons, set it higher? Yes, I would. And I think at the end of the day, you have to evaluate, what was taking place here. And I'll briefly say this, Susan. I thought maybe there was some mental infirmity or other issue, but having seen the microphone in her face and her even waxing poetic about, no, that would be a comment, sarcastically saying, I'm not saying anything, she appears to be quite rational, lucid, logical. So I'm wondering what other explanation, maybe my friend Jeff can talk me off the ledge here in terms of what specifically she may have been thinking when she engaged in this behavior.
Jeff, your take on what Joey said, because it did appear that she knew her legal rights and not to make a comment.
Yeah, I was struck by her demeanor. She was extremely calm, and I would say a little bit too calm for the situation that she's in right now. Though I do agree with Joey, she does appear to be, from what I can tell right now, to have her faculties and may be mentally stable. But I think the really big dilemma here that people are trying to figure out was, is this just the tip of the iceberg as to how she may be treating these children? Where there's smoke, there's fire? Or was this something where she was completely negligent, but not perhaps in a way that belies some sort of psychological issue, but more than anything else, just a really, and excuse my French here, a really numbskull, stupid move where she just felt, kids, get in this kennel, we'll, drive this distance and then get you out and not even think twice about it. Is this a woman who's overwhelmed? Is this a grandmother who has to take care of these children? We don't know, because what may be happening with the mother or the father of these children? Is she forced to be a grandmother, as so many women in this country happen to be, and she's overwhelmed? These are the huge questions that are out there right now. But it was something that is absolutely deplorable what happened.
Definitely negligent. Joey, we've seen the worst when we cover the House of Horrors. Jeff, you may be familiar with that horrific case as well, where it was horrific abuse year after year. So it's good to know that the investigation will take place if there's other things in the history of this family.
Without question, and that's why, and we could have a separate discussion as it relates to, children's services and whether they're overwhelmed and how many cases they have in their caseload, and could they effectively manage that caseload. But we do know that they will certainly investigate as to what she's doing. Dr. Jeff speaks to the issue of, is it the tip of the iceberg? They will get to that matter in terms of assessing, is there other history concerning what she's doing that's not in the public, where you can have people who are diligent and shooting cell phones. So what else is going on? And that's for the protection of the children. And the judge, it's a teachable moment. You have to punish, you have to deter, and you have to think about rehabilitation as it relates to resolving this case. But this teachable moment, she's got to know that this is just not something you should do. And you think she would know as a grandmother, unfortunately not.
Just common sense. Dr. Jeff Gardier, Joey Jackson, good to talk to you. Thanks.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.